Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's the Monday night Zoom edition. And we're getting some regulars here and some new people. It's all good. Let's check out what Bitcoin did over the weekend. So I'm going to share my screen. And everybody should see my Bitcoin chart, the day chart. You guys see it okay? Oh, I got the message. Participants can now see your application. All right, cool. All right, so here's the day chart. I drew this line last week and adjusted it. Let's go to the 4 hour. It shows up a little better. This green line here. And unfortunately, it dropped through. I was hoping for a pump back up, but that this would hold as support, but it has not. We were up in the 47s earlier today, dipped down to the 45s. So it looks like it's hanging around 46. So we'll see what happens with that. We've had mostly good news in the markets the last couple of weeks. And overall, I think we're bullish that we might be doing some more consolidation up in this mid 40s range for the next few days. Some other people like BitBoy and Carl the Moon think we're pumping up to 50 this week. We'll see. All right, and we'll take a look at Ethereum as well. It's been riding this trend line for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, really nice pattern there. I didn't even have to adjust it, but we did dip below today around 31.5. So we'll see if that holds, see if we get a bounce. Be nice to see this shoot up 3,500 and maybe even 4,000. So, and on the 1 hour, yeah. So both Bitcoin and Ethereum seem to be moving well. Ethereum seems to be doing a little bit better than Bitcoin. So that's interesting. We haven't looked at Bitcoin dominance in a while. Yeah, it's been trending down pretty hard. It did kick back up a little bit today, last night and today on the 4 hour. So if we can get this down in the low 40s, upper 30s, that's usually a good sign for the altcoins that we like to trade. But when Bitcoin's up here in the 40s and 50s, then that can be difficult. In the upper 40s and 50s, that can be difficult for the altcoins. So, and since we're mostly here to talk about Altcoin Alert, we do want to see the altcoins do well. So, okay, any questions on Bitcoin and Ethereum, the general market, before I move on to Altcoin Alert? All right. Here we go, Altcoin Alert. We've got our top 5 AA scores. Axie is back. It's been a consistent representative of the top 5 for the last couple of weeks. I was looking at it a little while ago. I'd set an alert. It didn't go off, so that's kind of a bummer. This has been kind of hovering. Let's look at the 1 hour. Hit 76 earlier this month. It's been mostly hanging around the $70 area past few days. Can't seem to really push through. It's been stuck here since about 13th or 14th. On the 5-minute, a couple spikes up here, 69.60. Another one here just below 69. So we're seeing some, well, not necessarily lower highs, but I do like this coin a lot. I trade it frequently, and it's just about getting a good entry point. Looks like we have some short-term support right here on $66. This might be a good entry point. I was thinking this was going to go into a dip sequence, but the Bollinger Bands are squeezing together. Might be worthwhile to set an alert. Maybe down where these two candles spike down about 65.95 and then reevaluate. So on the other hand, if we get a if that doesn't happen and we get a pump up above the Bollinger Band, maybe catch this for a retrace back to where these two, candles pumped. But there's only two of them, and then we had a shoot up and a drop down immediately. I don't know how reliable this is. It does coincide almost with this group of candles here that show some resistance right here around 68.39. So that'd be a 2% bump if you use that, for an exit point. 2% is not a bad trade if you can get it fairly quickly. So that's what I'm thinking. Either an alert down here, or I do alerts on either side of this Bollinger Band to see what this coin's going to do next, half an hour to an hour. All right, let's see. Let's go back to Altcoin Alert and let's look at Lena. I was looking at this earlier today. I had an alert go off. I was going to get in, but I got distracted and I didn't. Okay, it's coming back to about, my alert went off around 5:50. It did work its way up here. My alert went off right around 2 o'clock. So 2.8%, but then it dropped down. So now it's pretty much back where my alert was. So on Lena, looks pretty similar. It doesn't seem to, not sure if it's going to go into a dip sequence or not. So you might want to do some straddling alerts on each side to figure out where a good entry point would be. Has been trending up in the last week or so. That's actually a pretty nice channel to trade. But broke the trend. It was hanging around the SMA line for the most part. Well, if it bounces up like this did on the 13th, that would be a good place to get in. Maybe above the Bollinger Band right about here. And we have resistance here at around 594. Probably pick this 3 to 4% up, within a couple hours. So that would be a good day trade. Okay, let's see what else we got. Voyager, not on many exchanges. I was looking at Pundi X too. I traded this once. Okay, so Binance listing in April, pretty much curved down. Now it's coming back. Some pretty nice movement on the 1 hour from last week or so, but mostly drifting down today. Again, with the AA scores, it's not necessarily telling us what's pumping now. This came up in the Slack group today, and I responded to somebody saying, the AA scores are trying to anticipate what's going to go up, 3% or so in the next 24 to 48 hours. So it's not surprising when those coins are kind of beaten down right now. So, and it looks like this broke support on the 5-minute chart. And this is starting to bubble. So this is the kind of thing that could go into a dip sequence, maybe catch it down here. Nice 5% trade. That would be sweet. So an alert down here just below 1.8 would be a good idea. Try to catch that move if it happens. Yeah, it's been since around noon since it's gone above this resistance. So not sure if buying near the SMA line would be a good idea. Okay. Doge, sure, why not? Doge on the day chart is coming back. In late July, early August, it was down below 20 cents. It's over 30 now. I've not looked at this in a while, probably a couple of weeks. Trending up slowly, nice Nice bump up yesterday, but drifting down. On the 5-minute. Had a spike down and kind of a dead cat bounce here. Yeah, it's pretty similar. Again, hanging around the SMA line on the 5-minute. Don't like that. It's sort of an indecisive area. It's drifting down a little bit, but the Bollinger Bands are squeezing. You can catch this in a dip sequence, say around here, where the third standard deviation is on the Bollinger Band. 5% back up to the SMA line. That's pretty good. I know Doge kind of freaks me out. I mean, if it, I want to see some really strong candle patterns before I invest in this coin. I always feel like, people are going to say, okay, enough of this meme stuff. And then, everyone dump it at once, but it's had some resilience. It keeps coming back. Something's going on there. I know the community is strong, so that probably has something to do with it. And there's always Elon, so. All right, well, that's all I have for the Altcoin Alert AA scores. Does anybody have any questions about those coins or the AA scores or anything like that? We'll do some other sorts.
I did the sort first thing this morning on the Elder Impulse.
Okay.
And there were like 200 of them were bullish.
Yeah, that happens.
It was the most amazing looking page that I've seen since I joined this thing.
Yeah.
Which then, what do? You got to pick and choose among things. But I was astonished at how much was bullish this morning.
Well, we talked about before combining that with the long-term sentiment,
right.
being bullish as well. So that probably cut a few down, but you probably still had quite a few.
There were quite a few. I don't remember how many of the long term there were, but anyway, it was just a funny day.
Yeah.
Like great, it's rolling again, but picking what you want to concentrate on is hard sometimes. A wealth of choices.
Yeah. And again, to go over our Elder Impulse daily search, we're looking for bullish on the daily and on the long-term sentiment. Neutral or better on the AA score, thumbs up or fire on trading activity, probably neutral or better on social. So we've got all that going on. And I like to see 5% or above on the upper, but I'm not seeing that much lately. So it's not necessarily discouraging to me. I still usually check this coin out. So, oh, I was on, yeah, we're close to 5% here on Solana. I was looking at Polkadot, but fire, neutral, bullish. We're neutral on long-term sentiment now. So probably both of these are worth a look. Both Polkadot and Solana. Well, since we have the bullish scores on Polkadot, let's look at that. Sorry, I was waffling on that choice. All right, DOT's come back pretty strong. This really took a beating in June and July. And I haven't really looked at it much. I haven't updated my fib since May. And again, nice trend up in the last week. Can we find an entry now? It's heading for the bottom of the Bollinger Band. We're getting some bubbling here of the SMA. I mean, of the Bollinger Band. So this might be heading for a dip sequence. Bitcoin's dropped a couple $100 since we've been on. Yeah, it's kind of mimicking Bitcoin here, which is dropping. So everything might be going into a dip sequence at the moment. That's good for us as day traders. We can catch those dip trades. So it's a bummer for your current trades, but it's a good place to get in. So you got to be patient. Wait for the dip sequence and or a MACD cross. If this just bounces down here and then bounces up again, your MACD cross can tell you if the momentum has a chance to carry it back. We've also got the RSI going almost into oversold territory. So these are all indicators that show us the, this coin is heading down and could be in the short term heading for a comeback. And let's see, what else did we like? Got Chainlink, bullish on sentiment. I mean on the elder impulse, and then very bullish on sentiment. Bullish AA score, thumbs up here. Kind of low on the 1 hour projected, bearish on the hourly. But I'm willing to hold this for more than an hour, so let's give Link a look. This one's come back pretty strong too the last few weeks. Big pump up here to $30, then kind of crashing since then. All right, same situation that we saw in the other coins. A long line of candles here below the SMA line. Just broke through the bottom of the Bollinger Band. We've got the Bollinger Bands bubbling out. So we're going to try to catch this thing down here if it goes through a dip sequence. And if we do, theoretically, we'd get in right about here. SMA line, probably about 4%. That's a good day trade. So, all right. Well, that's about all I was going to go over on Altcoin Alert. You can do other sorts as well. For those of you who are new to Altcoin Alert, you can sort by trading activity, which I've done on this program before. For those of you who are impatient, the 1 hour projected range. Don't use this one. I don't find this one incredibly reliable, but you can get some movers this way. Get 7% up here. I've traded Chromia before. I've got a couple bullish signals, a bullish AA score. We just got, it seems to contradict each other. Bearish on the hourly impulse, but 1 hour projected is over 7%. So could be worth a look. It's down 10% today. That might be why the scores are a bit contradictory. All right. Any questions on Altcoin Alert before I move over to iCoinPro? All right. iCoinPro, I like to look at the RSI SPY first to see what's oversold and overbought. I think I told you guys I've moved some of my spot trading over to Coinbase Pro, so now I've got both exchanges showing up in my searches on iCoinPro. So I know a lot of the Coinbase people like to trade this one here, Clover Finance. Let's go ahead and check this out. It's been pumping lately. These numbers over 70 and indicate they're overbought. So can we catch a trend here, or should we go look at the oversold coins? Okay, very recent listing here. Interesting. It's had a nice run up for a new listing. They tend to shoot up and then drop like a rock, and then this one did some of that and then has been trending up pretty well here. Hit a high of nearly $2, dropped down, hit it again, now dropping again. This coin's had some interesting candle action for a new listing. This is what I meant by, can we catch it in another pump? It's risky. If the MACD crosses this orange line and this starts to move up again, well, this would move up again, then that cross would happen. You might get in right about here and get back to this, where this pumped. But again, with only 2 candles there, one up and one down, it's not very reliable. Got a little bit better indication of resistance here, but it's only a 3% recovery. I don't think that's a good enough risk reward for that risky of a play. So don't think I like this one. Let's sort this and see if we can find anything oversold. Find another dip trade. Looking for 30 or below. Some of these are close. We've had, the market's been dipping this afternoon. You can find oversold, 30 or below on 1 hour and 4 hour. That's usually a really good possibility on an established coin. If it's new, then I probably wouldn't do it. Maker's been around for a while. It's on Binance. This is kind of low volume for Binance, but could be. I think it's still worth a look. This is another one, Dent. This has been traded a lot lately on Binance, and its volume's really good. So let's look at Dent instead. Yeah, this has been dipping pretty hard since 6:30 this morning. Yeah, we're down 14%. It's gone through a couple dip sequences where it doesn't quite make it. Well, it does get back to the SMA line, but it's trending down. So it just started dipping again. That's our first dip there. So anticipating where this comes back would be right about here. Yeah, I like that. So probably 4 to 6% if you catch it on a dip to the SMA line. Yeah, that's how I would do this. It's dipping pretty hard. Yeah, dip. Bitcoin's dropping a bit. That probably has something to do with it. All right, so this one has potential. And let's see what else we got. iCoinPro, RSI SPY. Let's go over to the Buddy Coin Crawler. Oh, any questions on the RSI SPY function before I move over here? Okay. All right, so this column sorts these values from the low, the 24-hour low, to the SMA line. So that pink line I showed you on the charts, the pink line between the Bollinger Bands, halfway point. So I'm looking for 5% or better usually, and got a couple of good prospects here. Alchemy Pay, or ACH, has been a hot coin on Coinbase this last week or so. So let's check it out. I actually traded this a few days ago and had a nice result. Big pump, big drop after the listing. Pretty squeezy on the hour. Had this pump up here to 11 cents. Now we drop down 38% down to 7 cents. Yeah, this is one of those dip sequences that'll break your heart sometimes, The bubbling starts about here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a 9 dipper. Yeah, this is something if you got in after the third dip, which is usually maybe a fourth dip, you probably have to ladder buy once or twice, but it comes back to almost the first dip position. So the ladder buy would have been successful. By ladder buying, I mean additional positions when the coin goes down. So if you bought after the third dip in this vicinity here, let's say this one here, drops another 8%, you probably want to buy at least 1 or 2 more positions. And then it comes back to here where you bought the first time. So your first position breaks even or has a small loss, but your second or third positions do really well. So that's why I like doing ladder buying in a bull market. And we're still overall in the bull market despite this this candle sequence. So this is interesting. Bounces off of the top of the bottom of the Bollinger Band. I was expecting to see something more like this, but it just shot up. Now it may dip again. If it does, buying down here would be probably a pretty good move. And you're looking at, over 8% to the, to the SMA line. That's good stuff. So I might be into this after the show. All right. Yeah, there's another one I wanted to look at. Oh, FTX token. Yeah, really good volume here at 242 million on Binance. I also trade on the FTX platform sometimes. You need a VPN, but I like the exchange. And I've got some bull coins on there that are leverage tokens, 3x leverage. All right,
have you heard anything about the FTX US? Like Binance has the two Binance names.
I think it's coming, or it's might even be here. But again, since I trade on, I'm so used to FTX International.
Yeah.
Much like Binance, I always trade on that. But
yeah, I thought maybe you'd heard something.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, they're doing some partnerships in the US with some sports teams and athletes. So it doesn't really make any sense to do that if they're not going to be legal in the US in some capacity. So
yeah, that seems to make sense.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Sure. Yeah, FTT on the day chart. Nice run up lately. Probably from some of that news we've been hearing about them. The hour. Yeah, some nice action on this, but we drop it at the moment. So similar dip sequence to what we looked at on ACH. Almost made it to the SMA line and dipping again. So technically we're still in the same dip sequence that started here this afternoon. So I'm not sure what to do with this. Probably set an alert down here. Try to catch it. Probably wouldn't try to get to the SMA line. There's some resistance here. 4.5% though, that's a good day trade. So I'd say try to catch it down here. If it doesn't, if it makes a strong move above the Bollinger Band, it's a bit riskier, but you can try to retrace back here to this resistance around $51, for 7%. That's a really good day trade. So, all right, and we have some other things we can look at on iCoinPro. I like to check out the Fear and Greed Index. Evidently, we're greedy now after the last few days of pumping markets. Oversold, probably not much. Yeah, it's really low. Most coins are overbought, not oversold right now. So that's why we didn't have much to go on with the RSI SPY. All right, well, that's all I have for the coins I wanted to look at on Altcoin Alert and iCoinPro. Kind of zipped along here, not a whole lot of questions. So we're at about a half an hour. You guys have any questions about those two information sources or anything else or any other coins you want to look at? That's some shy people.
What's your take on Terra, CJ?
Terra? Luna Terra. I was bumming about this. This is the kind of thing where I wish I had some, crypto laying around. I think we probably all want that, but to do some longer term, set it and forget it kind of stuff, because I like Luna a lot. And it pumped. It's back to its all-time high of $22. It's dipping a little bit right now. Yeah, it punched through this screen line's the all-time high at the moment. Yeah, it's dipping a little bit on the 5-minute. We get a few more dips, 5% back to the SMA line. Yeah, that's a good day trade. Looks like we've got support here in the short term anyway. Right around, say, 21, between 21.4 and 21.1. So yeah, that'd be a good one. So Any other questions on any other coins? Okay, Darren's asking about Rocket Pool. I don't know what that is. Is Rocket Pool a token? Let's find out. It's not showing up on TradingView. Maybe it's run together. No. Okay. Okay. Anything else in crypto you guys want to talk about? Other coins, trading strategies, anything like that?
Just a quick trading strategy question, CJ.
Okay.
Do you pretty much stick to your 1, 2, 3 dip, or do you, if it's not available, will you go just with the support?
It's a good question. That's my favorite, and the 1, 2, 3 dip. And yeah, plan B would be support. If it bounces and doesn't do a dip, like this is get a bubble, we get 1, 2, and then no dip. In this situation, I might wait for a MACD cross, or maybe 3 strong candles, and then get in here. Then look for an exit place. Like to be honest, I probably would have tried to catch this up here, and I'd still be in that trade. So, and I'd be a little bit under. Probably not enough to do ladder buy yet, but
Are you finding more 1, 2, 3 dips again now that things have picked up?
well, no, usually there's fewer 1, 2, 3 dips when things pick up. So that's when I sometimes use a 1, 2 and a MACD cross, or just a 1 and a MACD cross if the candle action is strong. So sometimes when the market changes more bullish, you have to be more of a trend trader, which again wasn't my training, but is something I've been doing more, especially with leverage. I mean, I try to catch a little trend like this, something like this, or maybe even a short down here, but that's a little trickier, a little riskier. So I don't talk about these kind of what I just showed you, those kind of scalps on this program. I try to keep it with the tried and true and some of the easier approaches, and the 1, 2, 3 dip, with a somewhat of a knowledge of the ladder buying, I think can be successful in a bull market. So but a lot of traders say, no, go with the trend, try to catch this kind of thing, and that's fine too. So okay.
Thanks for that. The other question about the 1, 2, 3 dip, CJ, is I think I've heard you say in the past that you can use it on a different time frame, like for example, a 1 hour. You don't have to stick to the 5 minutes. Is that correct?
Yeah, you just won't see it as often. So like I'm not seeing any in here.
Actually, the reason I ask that is because the reason I sent you the email asking you about my setup on the Bollinger was I was seeing far less 5-minute time frames than in the 1 hour.
You said you saw more on the 5 minute or more on the 1 hour?
More on the 1 hour.
Interesting. It's been a long time since I've looked for them on the 1 hour. Just, I was told by people who train me that doesn't happen very often, so I don't make a point to look for it. But yeah, if that shows up on the 1 hour, then that would be something to to seriously consider. You probably want to make sure some of your other indicators are looking good, like the RSI pointing up, the MACD crossing. So yeah, like in this sequence
I wasn't so much
here.
looking for them. It's just that I always check the 1 hour, obviously, as I'm zooming in and out, and I would just see more of them. I'd be specifically looking for them on the 5 minute, wouldn't be able to find them when I want them.
Sure. Yep, you can trade it that way. If you, obviously, if you're on the 1 hour chart, then it's gonna take longer to pan out. Like on this one here, 1, 2, MACD cross, well, probably right about here. You know, up to 3% drop. You know, maybe you want to go to this, you know, this resistance here on 7%. You know, you'd be out in a day. That's not bad. So it's not a perfect example, but yeah, 1-2 dip with the MACD cross on the 1 hour, you could probably work with that. All right. So you got a chat. RPL. Darren wants to check out Rocket Pool. RPL. Sure. Let's see if we can find it this time. It doesn't look good, Darren.
Decentralized Ethereum staking network. It's on Uniswap and a bunch of exchanges I've never heard of.
Okay.
So it's some little tiny things, not on the big exchanges.
Yeah, it's probably a newer token that's trying to gain some foothold and get into getting with the big boys. You know, I'm in a few projects like that myself, so actually we'll be talking about a couple of those after the recording portion, but for those of you who want to hang around. But yeah, Rocket Pool probably isn't, you know, on TradingView or on the larger exchanges like John said. So
BKEX, have you ever heard of BKEX? BKEX?
BKEX, no.
HOO, who? And Bilaxi, I guess I've heard of that one, but I don't.
Yeah.
They're not the ones that are on the approved list, so I don't know these names.
Okay. Yeah.
But Google knows them.
Yeah, that's cool. But hey, that's yeah, something I've sent in my emails that if you want to, you know, catch lightning in a bottle, you can throw $100 at some of these brand new coins. Know that, you know, you're looking at a 5 to 10% chance of success if you're lucky. So, you know, it's got to be money you can afford to lose. It's very risky, so you shouldn't use much money on things like that. So I'm not going to tell you to not do it because I do it. So and I share that with some of my people on my list. Say, hey, here's something to throw $100, $200 at, see if it shoots up. So, you know, we'll see. And maybe Rocket Pool is one of those kind of projects. All right. Any other questions? Okay, if not, I'm going to stop the recording. And you guys can hang around. We'll talk about some more stuff. For those of you watching the recording, thank you for attending, and we'll hopefully see all or most of you on Friday. The rest of you guys can hang out.